Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Heel Hookers Podcast, episode 143. We are back to talk about quite possibly 100% fact for sure. There has never been another MMA card in MMA history with more championship fights on the line. We have 10 championship bouts coming at you this weekend from PFL.
That's so true.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even actually realize that technically, yeah. That is the case.
Yeah.
Oh my god, wait a fucking second. I just realized that's 10 fights that are 5 rounds. Oh my god, this is gonna be a long event.
Because like you said, as I started that intro, that literally hit me of like, fuck, we got 10 championship fights on this card. Are we going to have literally, bro, imagine we get 10 decisions straight.
Listen, hear me out, because not only is there 10 championship fights, so there are, 5 rounds, but there's 16 MMA bouts on this altogether. This is gonna be a really long card.
I mean, yeah, because it was like 5:15 our time, start time for the prelims. Then I think it's a 7 a.m. start time for the prelims with Mena. And then I think it was like a 9 a.m. start time that they had planned for like the championship. And
that's crazy. 4 hours straight up just in the prelims, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and roughly, like, when, the UFC breaks it down their stuff, like, it's like 40 minutes for, like, their main events when they, separated out for the rest of the card, which includes, the post-fight interview, all that, which is why I'm including in this. That would potentially... Oh, shit. That fucked up. That potentially equals out to 6.7 hours if they were to all go to a decision, all do a post-fight interview. Plus, we already know PFL sucks at fucking pacing.
Well, so with like the prelim portion with Mena, it's like if it is like planned from 7 to 9, it's like if literally they were to all go to a decision, that literally leaves 20 minutes of time. That and that's between the minute breaks, the fucking walkouts, the like introduction, the announce. You know what I mean? Like. Because 25 minutes purely of fight time. So maybe I have that timing wrong, because there's no way that that's possible that they get those 4 fights slotted in a 2-hour span.
Yeah. No, like I'm saying, like for the 10 championship fights, each one goes to a decision. That's 25 minutes plus all the minute breaks, intros, post-fight interview, let's just say 40 minutes, 6.7 hours, plus however much time they spend going from one fight to the next fight. Potentially 7 hours for just those fights. Not including prelims.
Yeah, the 6 prelim fights, yeah.
Yeah, that
insanity.
This is gonna be a full fucking day shift of fucking work if fucking watching this fight.
Yeah.
Well,
and we even get paid for it.
Either way, we got all these championship fights to talk about. Obviously, not all of them are as exciting or as meaningful as the others, but we do have some pretty damn good ones, especially between the 6 PFL main world championships, not the PFL Mena championships. Starting off with the main event, Brendan Loughnane, champion winner, featherweight division, I believe in 2022. He is back in a championship bout, taking on Timur Khizriev, former Bellator fighter, came into the PFL tournament undefeated at 17-0, running through the tournament at this point. What are your guys' thoughts about this fight? Do you think that Brendan Loughnane can go out there, get the finish in this one? Or do you think this is going to be Timur probably just riding hard with the grappling, getting the positions and control time, and winning a decision over Brendan?
It's rough because it can go either way, and I'm not really quite sure. He definitely had a close fight with Gabriel Braga. I wasn't sure which way that was going to go. And I do think that Brendan Loughnane is better. So with that, he might be able to give him a hard time. He might be able to reverse something. He might be able to get him out of there, because he definitely has that knockout power and just finishability. But if Timur can hold him for 5 rounds, it's not going to be a very exciting main event.
It is not if that is the case. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be, because I'm going to have to watch these fights after the fucking card already aired.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun for me.
Yeah, that's definitely rough.
Hey, at least you get to skip through all the bullshit.
1.5 times speed.
That is true. That is true. I can't do all that. But, yeah, no, like you said, Kisrev had a hard time with Braga. Braga was able to give him some, was able to put him in some tough situations. So I feel like Brendan Loughnane just going to be able to do some similar things. He might be able to just, and plus this is 5 rounds as opposed to 3. Because his last fight against Braga would have been 3 rounds, if I remember right.
Yep.
So that's an extra 2 rounds. I don't know if Kisrev has ever been 5 rounds. I know Brendan Loughnane has. I know Brendan Loughnane has had this pressure on him before of being, main event, also just like championship fight, things like that. So I'm going to lean towards the guy with the experience and the level of competition he's fought.
He has been 5 rounds before.
Yeah, Burkett Young Eagles 8 in 2019.
Yep.
So yeah, 1 5-round fight there. Won by unanimous decision. It's like, I know against Braga that wasn't the greatest performance for sure. Yes. But I mean, on the flip side with Brendan Loughnane, also getting the split in his last fight against Kai Kamaka III.
I kind of forgot about that one. I had the Justin Gonzalez fight in my head, which is like the nasty cut that he got.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, because like even with the Justin Gonzalez one, it's like he was being extremely patient in looking for that one big shot for the finish. Like he knew that he was just going to land it at some point to get it done.
That's true.
He cannot afford to do that against Timur Kisrev. No. I just have a feeling that Timur is going to be the one pushing the pace a little bit more, going, like, just being active, being the first one to get off, and I feel like that's going to do him well over the 5 rounds, and I have a feeling that he's going to get the decision. I feel like this can be a good, tough fight, but I'm definitely going to lean towards Timur Kisrev in this one, getting the belt, remaining undefeated. I feel like it's just going to be tough stylistically for Brendan Loughnane.
Yeah.
But if Brendan's able to get it done, win 2 championships in PFL, $2 million checks with that, it just another one of those things of like, just another fighter of, damn, the UFC really should have signed this dude and could have had like a fun fighter fighting in so many fights, you know what I mean? But
for
good
real.
for Brendan on, you know what I mean? Just finding a different path, making his home in PFL and just carving out an amazing career. 30 wins, 5 losses, heading into the second PFL championship bout. Like, that's extremely respectable. It's like, that's the kind of shit that you see from guys like Gegard Mousasi, and you know what I mean? Like, legends of the game having that many wins and such little losses. It doesn't happen in MMA very often.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah, that's why, like, I kind of forgot that, like his past couple fights, he's been having that issue of just definitely being way too patient. But I just give him the respect of he has definitely done some solid things, so I'm not counting him out.
No, for sure. Like,
and not that you are, but you know.
Yeah, it's like his last 3 losses going to 2017 are Jesus Pinedo, who won the title last year, Movlid Habulayev, who I'm not sure if he ended up getting the title at all in PFL. Against Chris Wade. In 2021. So yeah, just another tournament winner there, and then Pat Healy, who is just a veteran of the game. When he fought him, Brendan Loughnane was 15-2 at the time, and Pat Healy was 29-20, and it was a split decision. You know what I mean? So it's like he does not have bad losses at all, like throughout his career. It's like, if Timur can definitely get it done, it's like that is definitely an amazing win on his resume for sure too.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, I don't think that this is gonna be like a thrilling fight, over 5 more than likely, but I feel like it's just gonna be one of those tough, grueling fights where it's just like, as we're watching it, it's just gonna be like, damn, like this is exhausting. It's gonna be good. I'm excited for it for sure. Definitely deserving to be the main event in my opinion. Going on to the co-main event though.
I'm so excited for this one.
Oh yeah, this is the motherfucking fight. because Dakota Tcheva, she is clearly extremely talented, extremely physical.
Yes.
She has 13 wins in her career, 13 fights, 11 of them by knockout, 1 by submission, 1 by decision. So she's more than likely getting it done by stoppage. With the getting into like the tournament bracket for this one, it was her, Jenna Bishop, Tyler Santos, and Liz Carmouche. She easily got the easiest, one with Jenna Bishop, in my opinion. Yeah. Tyler having to fight Liz Carmouche. Tyler gets it done. We get Tyler versus Dakota. The biggest step up in competition. The best fighter Dakota has to fight in her career.
Yeah. Huge really finisher.
Oh, sorry.
I was about to say, huge finisher in Dakota. Tyler Santos, who's never been finished in her career, only has lost by decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it's really going to show where Dakota is at in her career, because it's like, Tyler coming from the UFC, we have seen her against the highest level of competition, going to the split decision with Valentina, that a lot of people thought that she could have even won that, just having a really close fight.
Yep.
Obviously, like, she struggled a bit more with Erin Blanchfield because of the grappling specifically, but this is just a tough matchup for Dakota, man. Like you said, it's just the best competition she's ever fought, and if she can get her out of there, it shows she is real. Like, like the knockout power is real. If she can get the sub, like, just, that would be crazy, because it would only be her second one against someone that's never been finished, period. But like, it probably by knockout. But if she can do that, like, she definitely has some real power in those hands.
Yeah,
knees, whatever, feet.
This is definitely the fight that I feel like you get the most questions that can be potentially answered, because of Dakota being undefeated, only having the one decision. Tyler, we know she's been in 5 rounds. We know she's been in a championship fight. We know how she, works. She has never been finished. So it's like, this is where most of the questions I feel like on this card are going to be answered. Like, this fight has the most questions that can be answered.
No, for sure.
I wish I knew how the contracts worked with PFL. Because if their contracts are just like, fight out the tournament per se, I would love to get Dakota in the UFC after this. Like, if she can go out there, finish Tyler, 26 years old, tall, long, just incredibly dangerous. Shit, that's her nickname. But, like, you know what I mean? If she can go out there and do that, she needs to get out of the PFL and go to the UFC. There's all the fresh matchups for her. There's so many fights to be made. And just the level it'll put her at. Like, she can do great things if she can go out there and finish Tyler. Like, I truly believe that.
No, 100%. The level.
Yeah.
And just, like, the fact that, like, PFL has a very, like, bad time, especially if they're going to do the champion versus champion things and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
very bad time they'd be fucking up their fucking over their fighters on all that shit. UFC is going to be like, they're at least going to offer you 3 fights a year. 2 to 3 fights a year.
And it's also like, with the champ versus champ, it's like Liz Carmouche was Bellator champ coming, you know what I mean, coming in.
Yeah, so exactly.
Like, so she, I guess, technically still has the Bellator title because she never fought with that on the line. But it's like with her losing to, you know what I mean? It's just want to, like, we're talking about everything, like, just sitting here thinking, for sure, if Dakota gets it done, especially by stoppage, the only thing that's left for her in her career to prove is to go to the UFC. Like, there is nothing left in the PFL. Unless that they were, like, guaranteeing that, okay, they're running back the 125-pound tournament, then it's like, fuck it, you stay and make another $1 million. Then it's like, I totally get it. It makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
But in terms of competition level, there's nothing left. It's the UFC, or it's just, you're just gonna fight whoever the PFL decides to give you at whatever point, and it's like, at this point, if she does get the title, she's going to be one of the bigger stars, and all we've seen from that is that they get held on the sidelines waiting for the big fights, and so...
Exactly.
Exactly.
What I was gonna say is that, it's like, if she's in it because, she's trying to get rich and make some money, and she knows that they're running this back, I get it. Stay there and make your $1 million. Why the fuck wouldn't you? But if she is trying to establish any type of, like, legacy, greatness, wants to be, like, really just known in the MMA world, whatever, and actually go far in her career as a fighter, that's just her best path, because if she stays in the PFL, she's gonna have 4 rematches. If she goes to the UFC, it's all fresh.
And it's just like, with, talking about, like, the money, like, legacy and stuff too, just real quick, it's like, because last year, 2023, she won the PFL Europe tournament. She won the bonus for that, the prize, $100,000. that's incredible for a 25-year-old fighter at that time. You know what I mean? She talked about how that was life-changing. A year later to go through the main tournament and now win $1 million, like it's one of those things where you would never blame her for being like, oh yeah, let me try and run that back to but I just have the feeling the type of fighter she is with making with if 1 year $100,000 changes your life and now you have 4 wins, all of those contracted to make however much money, and then you get the $1 million on top of it. I just have the feeling she's gonna be like, yeah, you gotta give me something big or I'm out of here. I want to do something big with my career.
Yeah, I do agree with that for sure.
Because then, you get the whole argument, you become a champion in the UFC, pay-per-view points, all that, you can potentially make more than what you make over the PFL and all that. It just all depends on how careers play out.
Yep.
But yeah, no, 100 fucking K, at the end of a year, bro, if I won 100 fucking K, that'd pay off most of the rest of my house.
Yeah.
That is life-changing as fuck.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like Tyla is such just a good fighter. Just always love to see her do good. Very excited for her to get this opportunity. I would love for her to be able to win $1 million and get that under her belt for her career.
Yeah,
it's hard because I kind of would like Tyla to win, for all of that and everything, and then it's like, it would suck for Dakota to lose the take that one loss, but then that's gonna make so much excitement and hype for a rematch next year, however that plays out in the tournament gives it some sort of meaning moving on, because then it's like, with Dakota, if she does just blow the doors off of her and now she is locked into, let's say, 3 more fights or something like that, but the PFL is like, oh, we're not doing 125 tournament. Now, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to see her get from 26 to 29 dragged out through bullshit, have 1 or 2 fights maybe, and then she, you know what I mean? That's just such prime time years losing that she could be in the UFC doing great things.
We don't need to see her getting what Pachenko is getting now, where she's just getting absolutely screwed because PFL doesn't, you can only be on big cards, this, that. It's like, PFL, you are not that guy. I'm sorry. Get shit or get off the pot. For real.
It's like, I get it because, it's like they got these big fighters probably at favorable contracts for them, to make good money, and that's why they're there. But now they're at the point where they're trying to build and grow, and they're trying to obviously make financial decisions in the best way that they can, so they're going to be like, okay, well, if we can only have you fight 1 time a year on a big card where it actually does something for us to pay you that money, that's better than doing it 2 or 3 times where the other 2 times we're literally just losing it, because they can't sell a fucking ticket for shit.
No, they can't. That is the biggest thing is they just, it looks like they're literally holding events in an empty warehouse. I know we make that joke all the time about the Apex, but it's literally the same thing for PFL, unfortunately.
The UFC doesn't, they don't sell more tickets in the Apex than PFL because they don't want to. That is literally the only reason. They could literally go to just go online and buy a bulk of fucking 5,000 fucking fold-up seats, fucking scatter them around the Apex, and they'll sell them out like that for fucking 1,500 each. It's entirely different, but man,
exactly. That's the thing. It's
if PFL wants to sell tickets, they gotta figure out how they could get Cedric Doumbé to fight 10 times a year in France, and you know what I mean. And they just
it's PFL can't sell more tickets. Don't sell more tickets because they can't. The UFC doesn't sell more tickets in the Apex because they don't want to.
Exactly.
It is just it's a thing because it's one of those things where we give the UFC props, but it's also god damn, can we get another promotion to actually build up to something that actually resembles competition to them?
It's just literally impossible. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things, but we'll see how everything plays out with the 125-pound title. Great fight. I'm so interested in that co-main event. Definitely one of the best fights on the card for sure, if not the best fight.
Yeah.
Going into the featured bout. Oh, this is going to be good. I am very excited. Our boy Impa Kasanganay, he is back looking for another $1 million at 205 pounds in the PFL, but he's taking on my boy. Oh, my boy Dovletsyan Yagshi Muradov. my boy from Turkmenistan, he's looking to become the first fighter from Turkmenistan to win any sort of major title. That would definitely be huge for him and his country.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about this one heading into it?
Yeah, I don't know. Dovletyan, like, he's very solid as a fighter for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that Impa's gonna be able to get it done over him. I don't know. He's solid, but like he's kind of basic, and he also doesn't have like the most pressure. Like he keeps a solid pace, but like I just think that Impa's gonna be able to get him backed up, land big shots on him. Like even if he doesn't get him out of there, I do think that over 5, like he'll probably end up winning that.
Yeah, same. I feel like Impa's gonna be able to put that like Jared Cannonier type pressure on Dovlitz, where it's not like he's throwing the most, but when he's landing, and you have to move back so you don't get caught.
No, yeah, for sure. I definitely do agree with that. Because it's gonna be whoever can, like, on the feet, I feel like, land the bigger shots to get the other one backing up for them to, like, just one of those things where whoever's pushing forward is gonna be winning.
Yeah.
But I think Impa is much overall well-rounded on the feet, where he can get it done more consistently throughout the 5 rounds. Dovletyan has to be able to be successful with the grappling throughout this fight in order for him to have a chance. If he's not shooting takedowns and getting Impa down, getting ground and pound, control time, wearing him down, and that's some form of success. He doesn't have to do it completely, but be able to mix it up so he can also use that to just mix up the striking and, just have the dual threat. He has to get that going. If he can't get the grappling going, he's toast in this fight. And I'm not sure if Impa will get the finish, but it's entirely possible later on. And if he doesn't, it's going to be an easy Impa win over 5.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's definitely hard because with Dovlet, he got the win over Rob Wilkinson in the last one, which was definitely a very solid one. But off the top of my head, I don't remember. I feel like he didn't go to the grappling at all in that one. I feel
like he didn't.
I just feel like I just remember being surprised by that. Of just like, oh wow, like he's not doing this.
Right against dude who's much taller, much longer than him.
Yeah, and so I just feel like if he doesn't mix up the grappling, he's not going to find the success against Impa.
I can agree with that.
Very solid fighter, 24-7-1 overall in his career versus Impa 18-4, who has been obviously extremely well improved since leaving the UFC. A great fight at 205 pounds. Very excited for it.
Yeah.
But we're saying in the co-main event that, one of the best fights, like the best title fights, could be the best title fight.
This is another one.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think this is my best title fight on the card.
Yeah.
Because you have two undefeated fighters coming into it. 17-0, Magomed Umaladov taking on 19-0-1, Shamil Masayev. This is going to be absolutely incredible. Both of them are monsters on the feet. I'm so excited for this one. Do you think that someone loses their O by decision, or is one of them getting knocked out and finished out there?
It's hard to say when someone's undefeated and never lost before. To call for fin it. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I get it.
It's one of those things because they're both very defensively sound. Like, it's not. Both defensively sound, both have good power. Like, it just is one of those things where it could just be they respect each other a little too much. Not to have a bad fight or anything, but to, like, the point where they're not getting clipped to where it's actually going to hurt them to where they get dropped, they get finished. I do think it is more likely going to go to a decision.
Yeah, it's funny because both of them have 11 knockouts in their career. Both of them have 2 submissions in their career. Shamil with 2 more decision wins at 6, and then Magomed has 4 decision wins. Really Magomed is 3 inches taller with a 3-inch reach advantage, so I feel like that. I think that's gonna be the thing to probably that could be the biggest factor heading into this one, like of just like basic things of just in terms of the fight. But I don't know, man. It's like, obviously, both of them have, like, the decision wins and stuff, and clearly have shown it. I'm just not sure with both of them bombing on each other throughout 5 rounds. I just feel like someone's going down.
I also think it's gonna be a finish. And like low-key, I kind of feel like it might even be a sub though, specifically just because it's like, yeah, it's hard to get a guy out of there sometimes. So sometimes you just gotta hurt them and go for that like RNC or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just like another one too. You know, we're talking about like the main event, how both of them not like great fighters, but not looking impressive in their last ones. Both of them also kind of surprising, like in their last ones to me, where it's like Neiman Gracie had moments on the feet against Magomed, which I didn't expect him to at all. Yeah. And then Shamil got the second round finish over Murad, fights him in the rematch, goes all 3, not looking as impressive in that one.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know, man.
Sometimes, like, I wonder if that has to do with, like, that's their 3rd fight since April, you know? Like, you know, they're fighting in April, then June, and then August, and I wonder if it's just one of those things of, like, fatigue. Yeah, like, it's hard to perform at the same level they were in the first fight of the tournament. So now, with this fight coming up, it's like, you know, they got that extra month break, so, like, that's a little better for them, but...
No, yeah, definitely, like, if they don't have like any meaningful injuries, that extra month is all the difference compared to the throughout the tournament for sure.
So like I wonder if that's just a big part of it because it was both of their last fights where they've just looked less impressive than the last ones, but it's very true. The 3rd one in the tournament, so it's just what's happened in a matter of fucking 6 months. Like
that is a very fair point. Honestly, that's definitely something that. Yeah, it has to be
5 months. Sorry.
Yeah, like that has to be something that's more given credit to these fighters for sure. That's definitely a fact. It is a grueling ass fucking tournament, man. Like
no, it is.
Especially in the divisions where you actually got good fighters that are in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So it's like, with Shamil, it's like, he finished the guy, he was undefeated. So it's like coming back into that fight, it's the 3rd one. It's like, he just finished him. But, you know, like, still probably just has the respect for him that he is a good fighter and just, maybe not having that extra bit in him to be able to go for it. Yeah.
And then I will say I do agree that if this fight does end up in a finish, I see it being submission more than a cold knockout or anything because I just feel like they're both going to have enough control, like, from bottom, even if they get hurt, to be able to control posture and not get ground and pounded. So you got to do something. And so potentially, like, hurt them as they're trying to get up, take the back, RNC type stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Very fair. Yeah, great fight at 170 pounds between these two men. Definitely this one, Dakota Tyler, the best 2 title fights, no doubt about it.
Yes.
Going on to the last 2 PFL championship bouts, easily the 2 least notable ones out of the 6.
The ones we care about the least.
Yeah. Brent Primus, obviously been in the game forever, former Bellator champ, had good fights with Michael Chandler, just, you know, been around forever, looking to get a PFL title as well, add to that collection, taking on Gadzi Rabadanov, 23-4-2 in his career. I don't know, man.
It's always watching Brent Primus fight because every time he gets hit, he looks crazy. His feet are all over the place. He looks like his legs are not underneath him, but he proceeds to keep his composure to the best extent and then win the fight. So it's like, I don't know. 39 years old, still getting it done. Who knows what's going to happen?
I was about to say, a lot of grappling between these two. I'm hoping to get a Colby Usman type situation where they don't go to it at all. It just turns into a kickboxing match, but I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
This fight's more than likely going to a decision.
Yeah. And it's like
it's going to be a control-heavy decision.
Yeah, like Gadzi got the second round finish in his last one against Michael Dufort, just not that great of a fighter. And before that, his last finish was in 2021 with was that 5 decisions in a row, 6 decisions in a row. So it's like, like you said, more than likely probably not going to be the greatest fight, and it's probably going to go all 5 rounds. Probably Gadzi gets it done, but you know, we'll see how that plays out.
Probably, but Brent is a dog. I have to give him that.
Yeah, it's just 39 years old. I'm just not sure what the conditioning over the
what
extended duration, what he's going to have, you know what I mean?
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, like, he is one of those guys where he can pull something out of the bag that third round. All of a sudden, oh shit, he's got him in an RNC.
Nah, for sure. Let's go. All that we can hope for is a good fight out of that one, though.
Yeah.
Last fight on the main card, heavyweight championship on the line. Nobody gives a fuck about this one, honestly. I'm sorry.
So true.
This is just one where I'll be happy for the winner that they win $1 million in their career. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. MMA is just a tough ass sport, and just it. Like, yeah, a lot of fighters, you know, like, people don't care to watch them fight, so they don't really bring stuff to the table for the promotion. But what they're doing and performing out there, they deserve to get paid more than what they are generally getting. So, to the opportunity to get $1 million in your career, just absolutely life-changing money. And so, yeah. Denise Goltsov versus Oleg Popov.
It is what it is. Someone's getting finished, I feel like.
Yeah. Because Goltsov has over 40 fights, and been to decision 7 times.
So 20 fights for Popov.
Yeah, 8 decisions for him, so a little bit more. But I mean, he did go to decision with Lynn Vassell in the last one. That was a terrible fight.
It was, but
I don't know. Goltsov probably gets it done, in my opinion, but we'll see how that plays out.
Hopefully.
But let's go. That is PFL main card, all of the $1 million tournaments. Now we head to the next section of the prelims, or the first section, I should say, and it's PFL Mana. Let's go. We haven't watched any of PFL Mana.
You were getting into it. I'm like, what do you expect us to say?
I was about to say, why are you bringing this up?
Because it's the next thing on the card, motherfucker.
Like, I'm excited to see it and get to know who these fighters are, and hopefully there's some good stuff. But I have absolutely nothing to contribute to a real conversation. Like,
no, for real, I have nothing. Like, there's no real conversations to be had here. I don't know any of these fighters. I don't know anything about them. I hope these are good fights, and yeah.
We got tournaments from 135 to 170, so very great divisions to be having tournaments in. You know, generally across MMA, you get very talented fighters and good fights. You got, like, you know, just some decent records throughout it: 7-0, 11-1, 6-2, 9. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, 15-3 is a great record too.
Yeah. I know, obviously, I'm not going to be sitting here just, you know, having so much to say about it, but just one of those things, like you said, excited to just see how they perform, see if we get any notable names out of it, and it's just one of those things where it's like, just hopefully get some people, the winners from the tournaments, moving into the main PFL tournaments next year.
Add some new life to the tournaments. Is always nice.
Exactly.
Because it's like, we had PFL Europe last year with would have been 6 divisions, I'm pretty sure, like just as well as the regular one, and we only had Dakota come in.
No, yeah. And it's like, from this, it's like literally the best divisions at 45, 55, and 170. And then they do have the 135, so that would be interesting if they are trying to get a 135 division going, because they don't have that for men's, right?
No, they don't.
Didn't think so.
Which that would be nice, because then maybe Patchy can get some fights in if he wanted to do that.
So. Yeah, for real.
Because it's like, between whatever they got going on with MENA Europe and then Bellator roster, it's like they could probably get something together for next year.
Or is the next real thing that they do is they add in a whole nother separate part of PFL that they're going to name something else, and then it's going to be like PFL Europe versus PFL MENA. You know what I mean? Regional champions colliding underneath the fucking PFL championships.
Only broadcasted in Asia.
Asia and certain parts of South America.
And it's a retaping at 3 o'clock in the morning. Can't even watch it live.
Nope.
But I don't know. But either way, we'll see what they do. PFL sucks. I just want them to be better next year.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, Jimmy. When you started in on this section, I'm like, look, I'm all for bullshitting, but this is a step too far. I was trying to bullshit.
It's not like I'm just gonna fucking skip right past it. You know what I mean? It's there. We got 4 more.
I know, but it sounded like you were expecting us to talk about it like we knew these people.
We just talked about it, brother. That's it.
That's so true.
moving on to the first section of the prelims, the opening part. 6 more fights to this card, like we mentioned earlier. 16 fights overall. This is going to be absolutely exhausting to watch.
Yes.
Obviously, the most notable fight on this card is the return of Jesus Pinedo. We've been wondering where he was at, and then we looked at this card a few weeks ago, and was like, oh shit, he's just buried on the prelims.
Yep.
Great promotion for him as a guy that he was supposed to fight Pitbull in the unification earlier this year, and then he had to pull out, and then, oh, okay, you just drop him from existence, basically, until now.
Yeah.
So yeah, and instead of trying to go back to the Pitbull fight or whatever, he gets Jeremy Kennedy coming off of that loss to Pitbull.
Yeah, for real, it's like.
It's like Jeremy Kennedy, a very solid fighter, went 4-2 in Bellator, 3-1 in UFC, 2-1-1 no contest PFL. So
but it's like the drop from Patricio Pitbull to Jeremy Kennedy. In terms of promotion, the fact that he was on, it was the main card of, or it was like prelim headliner for that big card at the beginning of the year, and then all the way now at the end of the year, 4th fight on the main card. Like, he is only 3 fights ahead of an amateur atomweight fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's God, it's just so like
this
shitty.
is why
No, I know because just all the hope for PFL potentially doing something at the start of the year, because they literally had all the pieces in play, and then all Don Davis did was act like he's some fucking cool, fucking awesome guy that has solved the fucking puzzle to become a rival to the UFC, and is just completely dicking over every fighter on the roster that like people actually give a fuck about and want to watch fight. It's like so incredibly crazy to watch it happen before our eyes, that it's like with saying like, just being like, oh, okay, I'm giving them basically next year to do something good for me to like continue to give a fuck about them for possibly doing something, but it's like every month that goes on, it's just less and less faith that they're going to do anything. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, I've already told you they're a money laundering scheme, so we've already established that. But legitimately, we've said it before, Scott Coker would legitimately do a better job at this point. And I genuinely believe that. And I really think they need to bring him back.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, the only promotion in the United States that has ever actually rivaled the UFC at any point of time in terms of a number 2 was Strikeforce. That was the only one ever. And it's like, obviously, so many years ago, different time, you know what I mean? But it's like, that was run by Scott Coker. There was a reason why it did that. There was a reason why Bellator lasted as long as it did with, you know what I mean? Because Scott Coker was running it. It's like, he could... Like, with all of the things that PFL is, like, trying to do and, like, setting up all these different spots, if you threw in Scott Coker and, like, he looked at it, and if he was actually, like, you know what, like, these are actually some good ideas and we can do something with it, the fucking fluidity that would instantly go through the promotion and how everything would run in it would be crazy to watch in a year's time how it would change.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem right now with PFL is just relevance, which sounds weird because they're on ESPN Plus or that, but I just mean like relevance in the like minds of people. Like they have no, they do, but what I mean is like in totality, like they have 6 events a year?
PFL?
Yeah.
No, they've always consistently had 10 because of the tournament.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's like they have whatever weight classes that they're doing, and it goes on for like 3 weeks, and then they do that like 3 times.
Yeah. It's just always weird that.
And they've added more in overtime because obviously they had the pay-per-view. They did like the PFL versus Bellator, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like. So that's where it's like with saying PFL as the promotion, it's like they always are just like, oh, we have these 5 different fucking pieces to our thing, you know what I mean? So it just like
it's hard
always
to
trying to separate it, you know, like with PFL tournament stuff, it has been 10 years. 10 fights, 10 cards consistently throughout the years. But
it's just one of those things where it's just like, yeah, I think it would help if they had just some more events in these like random months where it just goes like a month, month and a half, 2 months where they don't have anything, so no one's hearing anything about it. Because PFL, I think that's the other part of it, is PFL's promotion is just shit.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it literally compared to UFC and one championship, it's like they're losing at like every level basically. You know what I mean? Because it's like things that like they might do better like than one. It's like they obviously just lose to UFC, but then one just still does better things better than them. You know what I mean? It's like it's. That's why because I know you just call it, the money laundering scheme, but it's like with hearing Luke Thomas talk about it, like I feel like he's like right on point with being like it's all about the broadcasting deals, and because that just means a lot of guaranteed money coming in, so that gives just a lot of like just guaranteed value to the promotion, and they're just selling it off, making a bag, and they're just dropping the sport because they don't give a fuck about it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, and that's what I mean. Like I call that money launder. I call it money laundering, but like that's basically like what I mean. Is just like they're just trying to get as much out as they're trying to put as little in and get as much out without actually doing anything to really help themselves do anything. And it's just frustrating. That's why I call it a money laundering scheme. And yeah, it's just annoying that this is the number 2 promotion in the US, and it's like, can we have Bellator back? I actually
I miss just being able to look at the Bellator champions,
I miss being able to have rankings.
But yeah, so those are really all of the notable fights. With the 6 fights on the prelims, just really, you got Mansour Bernawi, who's a good, decent fighter from France, taking on Alfie Davis.
Yeah.
So that should probably be a good fight. Got some undefeated heavyweights going at it, but yeah, other than that, nothing too notable, But that is the PFL championship card. Hopefully, it just ends up being a whole lot of fun, makes it worth it for the time invested in sitting down and watching it all.
I feel like the specific fights are going to make it worth it.
Yeah, I know for a fact with the 170 championship and the 125, that'll make it all good no matter what. But other than that, there ain't shit to talk about for the rest of this podcast. I hope everyone enjoyed this one. Again, like and subscribe if you did. And hopefully we catch you on a real fun review and got a whole lot of things to talk about. And maybe they got some announcements to bring up, some things, whatever, who knows. But
let's see.
We'll catch you then. Peace.